I call the meeting to order. This is the regular school board meeting of the Harlingen Consolidated Independent School District. This meeting has been posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. We do have a quorum. I want to thank all of you for being here this evening for this special occasion. And now we will have a moment of silence, and please join me. Thank you. We'll now have the Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Shane Strubar.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. Tonight's pledge will be led by Giselle Juarez. Giselle is a 5th grade student at Travis Elementary and is the current student council president. Giselle excels in her studies and is a model student in her class. She has received numerous awards, which include the Homework Award, and has won Patriot of the Week twice this school year. In her spare time, Giselle is an avid cheerleader and has been for the past 2 years. She has taken first place twice at the National Cheer Association competition, and she placed second at the U.S. Cheer Finals in Chicago. Along with her squad, they have also earned numerous awards while at competitions in Florida, San Antonio, Galveston, and Austin. Giselle states her favorite part about being a Travis Patriot is the help and support she gets from her teachers. She continues to say that they are kind and always willing to help out. They've also inspired her to one day attend UTRGV to become a teacher. She is joined tonight by her parents, Jennifer Gill and Philip Juarez Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, Giselle Juarez.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Y'all may be seated. Great.
Next on our agenda, recognition of George McShann for 30 years of service and for his service as board president for the 2017-2018 school year. Dr. Arturo Art Cavazos.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. We're going to take a few minutes to recognize Mr. McShann and his 30 years of service. We do have some folks that will be presenting him with some gifts. And first on the list is James B. Jim Crow, Texas Association of School Board Executive Director. So I ask him to please come forward.
Thank you, Dr. Cavazos. I appreciate that very much. It's an honor for me to be here tonight. And if you'll allow me just a moment of personal privilege before I begin to speak about the honored guest tonight, I wanted to congratulate HCISD on the incredible recognition that this district and this school board received this past weekend at the HEB Excellence in Education Awards ceremony. The school board was a finalist for School Board of the Year, one of 5, and the district was one of 5 finalists for the Outstanding Large School District in Texas. And I can't remember a time when both the school board and the district were the finalists for those prestigious awards, and it made me proud to be there and to know you all. It was an amazing event. You know, as I drove in from the airport earlier today and looked over and saw the water tower that said HCISD, a district of excellence. And I just want you all to know that this board governs this district with excellence. This superintendent and administration leads this district with excellence, and the teachers and staff teach and serve the students with excellence. And I hope this community appreciates this board and this school district for what you've got. You've got one of the best in the state, indeed, best in the country, and you are certainly blessed to have them. So I just wanted to say that. Before I make my personal remarks, I was asked by the Executive Director and CEO of the National School Boards Association to extend his thanks to George for his service. You may know that George was the president of the National School Boards Association in 2004 and 5, one of only 2 Texans ever to serve in that prestigious position in the 80-year history of the National School Boards Association. So the executive director wrote, "Dear George, it is a special pleasure to offer a few words about you and your outstanding school board service. Some messages like this can be a bit challenging if the words are about someone not well known to me. That, of course, is not the case here. We first met when you were the 2004-05 NSBA president, and I was the executive director of the Pennsylvania School Boards Association. We had the honor of hosting you at our state conference in Hershey. You have mentioned to me several times how much you enjoyed that visit, which I am certain is true, although I don't know if it was our event or all the chocolate that we made that made the biggest impression. I worked with school boards for a long time and have a deep respect for the important role they play in the life of a community. I know the enormous sacrifice of time and energy that's required to hold this elected position. Let's face it, most people don't want to give up the personal time required to do that work in the way it needs to be done, let alone do it for 3 decades. Fewer still would even consider carving out even more time in their schedule to participate in state and national organizations while keeping their local commitments. You are one of those rare people, not just because you gave the time, but more importantly, because you provided the clear thinking, vision, and counsel that are so vital to ensuring that the organization you led not only survived, but thrived. I certainly know that's true for NSBA, which you served so well. So on behalf of the NSBA leadership, board, and staff, please accept my thanks for all you've done to advance public education and effective local school governance. We wish you all the best as you move to the next chapter of your impressive career. Sincerely, Thomas J. Gensel, Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, National School Boards Association. So normally in a presentation like this, I would recite accomplishments, facts, highlights of George's career. But this is really too personal for me to do that. I think you know most of the many things that he's accomplished and done. But I've known George for almost the entire time he served on the HCISD board. I've traveled with him and with Lola around the country advocating for public schools. I've seen his children grow up, and we've spent many hours together. And I can say without question, I've never known a finer individual or public servant than George McShann. He's been a mentor to countless people, school board members, administrators, certainly to me. But he's also been a champion for education. At the state level, certainly a champion for me personally, a champion for my organization, the Texas Association of School Boards, where he served as president in 1994-95. For the National School Boards Association, as you just heard, and for our nation's public schools, he's been a tremendous champion. But most importantly, He's been a champion for this community and this school district and the students in this school district. Everything George does and has done, every decision he's made, every vote he's taken, every word he's spoken, he does with students in mind. That's his filter. What's in the best interest of kids, and always has been, and I have no doubt always will be. He is the epitome of what a school board member should be. And as I thought about this and how I would describe George, I came up with something fairly simple. In my view, George McShann will always be Mr. School Board. And he is deserving of all the recognition that he will be receiving tonight. And I'm honored to be here to be a part of that. And thank you for allowing me to honor a great Texan and a great school board member. Thank you, George McShann.
Mr. President, board members, staff, and audience. Next, we have Mr. Ruben Cortez, District 2 State Board of Education member that will be presenting to you as well.
It's kind of hard to follow Jim Crow up, right? You know, before I read this resolution that we put together for Mr. McShann, let me just tell you all that I've known George for well over a decade, and I've served now going on my third term on the Texas State Board of Education, and I partially blame George for that. He was too good of a mentor, as Jim Crow talked about. When I first got elected to the local school board over a decade ago, George was one of those individuals who was always out there looking for those young whippersnappers who wanted to get more engaged, and there's no doubt that through my friendship with George that he helped ignite this fire that was already in me and I didn't know it was in me. But through George's leadership and mentorship, I ended up running for the Texas State Board of Education. He was one of those first few members that said, "Ruben, you've got to do this." And his friendship to me has been invaluable. And I think, you know, as somebody who lives in Brownsville, if he's doing this, if he's taking time to counsel me and mentor me, I can only imagine all the work that he's done within HCISD. And so to think that the thousands of students, that the policies that he and this board have made and the outcomes that have happened out of Harlingen, I mean, these things don't happen by accident. Jim talked about it. I was in Austin this weekend when they were finalists for both of these recognitions that Jim Crow was talking about. And these things aren't an accident. It's as a result of outstanding school boards. I shared with George a comment maybe a couple years ago, I think it was. I ran into one of the CEOs of one of the local charter schools, and I was talking to him, and I said, and he's telling me about his growth plan in the Rio Grande Valley, and I said, and he's telling me where he's going in Cameron County, but he didn't mention Harlingen, and I said, so y'all gonna go to Harlingen at any point? And his response to me was, no. And I said, okay. And he says, we're not going to go to Harlingen because Harlingen doesn't need us. We want to go where there isn't sound leadership. That's where parents are looking for other alternatives. That should tell you all something about not only George, but the leadership here in Harlingen, because you've got entities like this who the law gives them the opportunity to operate within any school district that they want. But they choose not to come here because they believe they won't be successful in this community where there's already tremendous success occurring. And that is not as a result of an accident. This is a team of 8 coming together and working for the betterment of the students of this community. And so I know that if he's out there guiding me and advising me, and George, don't think because you're leaving this board, I'm not going to be calling you. I'm still going to need some help. I'll still be reaching out to you every time I get stuck on something. But it's been an honor and a privilege to know you, George, and thank you for all of the wisdom and guidance that you've sowed into my life. There's no doubt that you truly have been a blessing in my life. There's a scripture that's always ever present in my life, and it's Jeremiah 29:11. And it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future." And I think that when I met George, it was somebody who gave me hope for a future that I didn't know already was in store for me, which was to later on run for the State Board of Education, who George has been very pivotal in not only guiding me through the decision to take this leap to run, but throughout some of these challenges that we faced in Austin. And so, George, thank you for your friendship. So I'm going to read this resolution. Most of this stuff you guys already know, but I do just want to read it for the record. Whereas George McShann has served his community as a school board member for 3 decades, overseeing the education of 2 generations of Harlingen children, and whereas George McShann's leadership has extended to state and national level as he served as the president of the Texas Association of School Boards and later as the president of the National School Boards Association. And whereas he also stepped forward to help struggling school districts, accepting a state appointment to serve for 2 years on a board of managers of the North Forest Independent School District. Whereas George McShann has lived a life shaped by his long-held motto, "Every student can succeed." And whereas he is a role model for thousands of Texans who have served on their local school boards, now, therefore, I, Ruben Cortez, Secretary of the Texas State Board of Education, District 2, urge all citizens to join me in recognizing the dedication and tireless work of an exemplary Texan, George McShann. Thank you, George.
Mr. President, board members, staff, audience, it's an honor to invite another great friend of HCISD, our very own state representative, Oscar Longoria. Come on in, Oscar.
Well, thank you very much. I'm truly honored and humbled to be here today. You know, it's not every day we get to honor a great Valleyite, great Harlingen individual who's contributed so much to education. And George, you have a lot of love in this city, and I think you have a lot of love in South Texas. So I think we should first start off by giving Mr. McShann a round of applause. A lot of you folks may know this, but I want to echo some of the tidbits. George has lived in Harlingen for 40 years. He was employed 32 years at Texas State Technical College in Harlingen, serving as college dean during the last 20 years. And thank you for those contributions, George. Technical education is the foundation of this state and the economy, and the fact that you're able to contribute and put in so much time and effort, I think the Valley thanks you for that, and Texas does as well. He was on the Board of Trustees since 1988 when he ran for school board, and his message was every student can succeed. I think things have changed since 1988. I'm sure the fashion has, but we see here all the investment that you've made over the last several years in Harlingen, and we thank you, George. As he retires from 3 decades of service for the Board of Trustees, his work to level the playing field for all children, regardless of economic, social standing, gender, ethnicity, continue to affect the lives of thousands of students in South Texas. George has participated in decisions bringing about transformational change in Harlingen ISD and the entire state. He campaigned vigorously for bond issues that would allow for constructing new academic campuses, including the High School for Health Professions. And, we're in an era where it's not the savvy thing to do bonds, but the fact that you want to go ahead and make those investments, because truly that's what they are. And I commend you for taking that by the torch and running with it, because a lot of folks kind of are deterred from those type of issues, but the fact that you see what that can offer, and if you do the investment properly, the dividends that will pay, I thank you for that, George. His efforts have also helped create 5 dual language programs on elementary campuses, the building of a performance arts center, an aquatic center, and multiple career and technology academies such as the Media Arts and Communication Center. He's earned many accolades during his time on the board. In 1998 through 99, McShann was a TASB Master Trustee and was elected President of the Texas School Boards Association, making him the first African American to hold that position in TASB history. In 2004, he was elected as President of the National School Boards Association, only the second Texan and first African American to serve in that capacity. George, we honor several great Texans, every day, and being a House member, and you truly are a great Texan. And the fact that you were willing to sacrifice and come down to South Texas and put a little bit of a McShann sprinkles all over this area, I commend you for that. I truly do. And being a board member, you encounter issues every day, and sometimes good, sometimes bad. But the fact that you've been here for 3 decades shows your compassion and your willingness to serve Harlingen. So I thank you. And on behalf of my office and Representative Lucio, who couldn't make it today for some illness in the family, I have a resolution to present to you, along with a flag that was flown over our Texas State Capitol. And I look forward to hopefully honoring you this upcoming legislative session on the Texas House floor, because you truly are a great Texan, and you are the foundation of South Texas. So thank you very much, George. And I hear you're a pretty good basketball player, too. Thanks, George.
Truly amazing. So next, we have a video for Mr. McShann that we want to show, and so I'll turn it over to Mr. Strubar's department, and so let's go ahead and show that video.
It can take 30 years for a tree to grow.
It takes Saturn 30 years to orbit the sun.
The Washington Monument took 30 years to build.
It's taken 30 years for the internet to get where it is today.
It also takes 30 years to leave a legacy. I think his footprint for the district has been just the champion for children.
I've experienced Mr. McShann going through middle school, elementary, high school, and as a teacher now, I've been able to see him grow as a leader and really be involved in our district.
I think Mr. McShann has played a vital role in career technology for us here at Harlingen ISD.
I started off at Bonham Elementary, where George McShann was involved in our PTA when Ms. Young was the principal there. One of the neat things about Mr. McShann, though, was he was involved in our PTA when I started at Bonham Elementary, and then when I got my diploma in 1989, he was one of the board members handing out diplomas to us.
I graduated 2003, and it was actually Mr. McShann himself who gave me my high school diploma when I crossed the stage.
I graduated here in 1990. Harlingen molded me and made me into what I am today as far as a teacher, as far as a man, as far as a criminal justice teacher.
I think in time, if you were going to show somebody HCISD, there would be certain faces you would show them. And I think one of the first faces that you would show them would be George McShann, just because of the longevity, the persistence, the pursuit of excellence that he has not only bestowed to this district, but to the city.
I think the fact that he's been here so long and he's been involved in the district, you can't think of Harlingen CISD without Mr. McShann.
He's always been a big part of what happens here in Harlingen ISD.
I think my special memory of Mr. McShann is the hand on the shoulder and the shaking of the hand. There are some people that you meet in life to where when you talk to them, you know that they're just talking and they're just trying to talk business-like with you. I've never felt that with Mr. McShann.
It's definitely when he gave me my high school diploma, because that was all of that hard work that you've done for 12 years paid off with that graduation.
So I remember Mr. McShann coming to one of my basketball games when I was playing basketball here at Harlingen High School and telling me, young man, you can do a little better. You're gonna have to do a little better. And I still remember turning around the bleachers and telling Coach Owens, my coach, I gotta do better, because that man behind me said I needed to do better.
Thank you, Mr. McShann, for everything that you've done for me and for my family, for the students of HCISD, and sir, also for the children from so many other districts in this state of Texas.
Thank you, Mr. McShann, for what you've done for me and what you've done for my students.
Thank you, Mr. McShann, for what you've done for me and what you've done for my students, for motivating me when I was a basketball player here at Harlingen.
And for all of your years of service and your dedication to Harlingen CISD.
Thank you, Mr. McShann. You are respected and you are loved.
broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and you know you feel like dying, but I promise we gon' bring the world to its feet and move mountains. We gon' bring it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the rain, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you.
Mr. President, if I might, I would like to ask for just a few moments. First of all, to say thank you to the extraordinary talent that we've just witnessed in this district. Wow, you're absolutely fabulous, everyone who participated. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Wonderful. So, how does anyone adequately thank a person for 30 years of sustained volunteer service? If that someone happens to be George McShann, the answer really becomes very challenging, because George's contributions are not based on time alone, perhaps not even primarily. What is significant about George is how he has used his time in service throughout these past 30 years. My husband recently reflected that George McShann must be the kind of American Martin Luther King Jr. had in mind when he described one who, quote, would make real the promises of democracy, end quote. And I thought a lot about that observation, and I believe Randy's right. This child of East Texas segregated schools, nurtured by what must have been a remarkable family, who grew up to work with governors and a president of the United States to refine educational policy throughout this nation, making schools welcoming to all children, and to, as George likes to say, level that playing field for equal participation. This is a man who has spent his adult life working to make real the promises of a democratic society. That he chose to do it here for 30 years in Harlingen, serving on our local school board, has been his extra gift to the community of Harlingen and to HCISD. Through countless board and committee meetings, elections, bond issues, and new construction, and working with a variety of superintendents and staff, not to mention multiple board members, weaving through the briar patch of school finance and legislative agendas, the list goes on and on. George has consistently used his formidable skills of consensus building and collaboration in a sustained march toward providing equal opportunities for all students to rise to their highest potential. His early and continued openness to innovation and choice, and his style of advocacy with dignity and through collaboration has significantly helped HCISD become a district now recognized throughout the state for both its achievements and its honorable style. So, George, while I really don't know how to express my full gratitude for both the quality and the quantity of your service, I can say how I feel. Exceedingly well done, my friend. Your faithful servant leadership has earned a solid place in the history of this district and in public education in Texas, and certainly in my and my family's heart. And as we Scots people like to say to our friends, may the road rise up to meet you, may the wind be always at your back, may the sun shine warm upon your face, the rain fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you, George. It has been my honor to serve with you.
Hello? Is it on? Okay.
Is it on?
There we go. I don't know where to begin. I mean, this is truly the end of an era for Harlingen HCISD. The contributions that George has made to this district are really immeasurable. I mean, 30 years of hard, dedicated service to this community and to the children that have come through these doors. George's leadership, both statewide and nationally, and I'm talking about from our perspective, has opened up so many doors for this community and for the children of this community. Just a real quick short story. My first year, I think, on the board, we were in Chicago at the National Convention. And the guest speaker was Saul Khan, who's many of you all know, and phenomenal. And he gave this unbelievable speech. This is about 8 years ago. And Dr. Flores was the superintendent at that time, and he was in the crowd, and he told George, he said, golly, I wish I could meet that guy to see what we could do for Harlingen. George said, you want to meet him? He said, yeah, I'd love to meet him. Come on, let's go meet him. And Dr. Flores was one of about 5 people that got to meet Saul Khan that day behind the stage. I mean, I look at since 1988, I've grown up here all my life, and I look at the facilities that this school district has, which I think are, second to none. And George's leadership, he was instrumental in so many of those, all those projects being built, even the ones that we have undergoing today. He was also instrumental. I think one of the reasons that our district has been so successful is we've had a succession of great superintendents. And many people don't realize the mechanics behind the scene, but George was instrumental in helping secure and find those, working with the board to help find the great superintendents that we've had. He's gone through 2 generations. I don't know how many times I've been on the podium at the stage at graduation, and he said, I gave your daddy his diploma. I gave your mother their diploma. We're almost to another generation. We're down to 2 generations for sure. He's never had a personal agenda. Everything George has always done, and I knew George, but not near like I know him now since the years I've been on this board. He's never had anything in his heart but helping these kids in this community, or even like the congressman said, throughout the valley, to provide the best education that we have. Sometimes he's affectionately referred to as the dean among our little group here. And tonight he becomes Dean Emeritus. And even though far from here you'll roam, hopefully not too far, I know, George, you'll always be looking out for us, making sure we're on the right track. And I know that if we ever need you, you'll be there to help us. And God bless you, and thank you for all you've done.
I want to echo my 2 colleagues. They said it eloquently. But before I talk a little bit about this important person, there's someone that's a lot more important than George up here, and that's his beautiful wife, Lola. I'd like to see if she can please stand to be recognized. And then I'd like the rest of the family to stand to be recognized as well. Just in case you don't know it, family, everybody gave you a standing ovation as well. And the reason I say that is it's so important when you're on the board or when you have an elected position, you're away from the house a lot. And you're either out of town or you're doing a lot of functions or a lot of activities. And there is no way that any one school board member or any other elected official can be successful if they don't have the support of their loved one, their wife, their husband, and the family. And I can tell you, I can tell each and every single one of you that one of the main reasons that George McShann was as successful as he was because he had the backing of his beautiful wife and his family. So thank you, family, for sharing George McShann with not only this board, but with the city, the state, and the nation. Thank you. I kind of like to say a little story as well, just to show the impact that George McShann has. Like Greg, we go to a national conference every year, and there's 2 main conferences that the board goes to. One, it's a state conference the state shares it every year. It's somewhere different. The same thing with the nation. Last year it was in Denver, Colorado, and after one of the sessions was up, I was going to my room, and I went to the elevator, and as I was going in the elevator, there was 6 other individuals in the elevator. And as you know how awkward it is when you're in the elevator, you don't know what to say. So I introduced myself, and everybody introduced themselves, and actually I was the last one to introduce myself. And they said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from South Texas." And they said, "Where's South Texas?" I said, "What?" And every time I say that, I always say South Padre Island, because I'm thinking everybody knows where South Padre Island is at. Well, no one knew where South Padre Island was at. And then I said, "Well, I'm kind of like, you know where Corpus Christi is at? It's about 2 hours south of Corpus Christi." And everybody kind of looked at me like they were deer in a headlight. And finally, I saw a young man with a TASB pin. And I said, "Do you know George McShann?" And true story. Every 6 one of those individuals said, "Oh, George McShann, we know where George McShann lives. He lives in Harlingen, Texas." I started thinking, from now on, I'm not going to say, "Do you know where South Texas is?" I'm going to say, "Do you know where George McShann lives?" True story. And the reason I bring that up is truly George, I don't know how many people really realize the impact that George has made in not only the valley and in the state, but in the whole United States. Like they've told you before, he was a National School Board Conference, But with that comes so much responsibility, but even more importantly, it has the podium and the microphone. And every time George McShann had a chance, he would always promote HCISD everywhere he went. And that is one of the reasons why we are on the roadmap, except for those 6 people that were in the elevator that they didn't know us. One of the main reasons that we're on the roadmap is because of this gentleman right here. So I will tell you, George, on behalf of myself and every single one of the board members loves you as well, and they're going to say a few words themselves. But I can tell you, your shoes are so big to fill that it's going to take each and every one of us 7 to try to fit in your shoes, and we're still going to be 2 inches short. So I want to tell you, thank you for guiding me. Thank you for mentoring me. When I started as a young whippersnapper, and I wanted to change the world. I wanted to do all these things, and George brought me in one day and brought me to the side and says, "Young man, we can move mountains, but we got to go one step at a time, and we have to do it as a team." And he humbled me because I was wanting to do the whole world, but if we didn't have a strong foundation, an individual that had the roots and had the experience and the knowledge, this board wouldn't be as strong and as powerful as it was if it wasn't for the leadership and the guidance that George McShann has. So, Mr. McShann, it's been an honor, it's been a privilege, and I can tell you on behalf of myself and my wife and my family, it's going to be bittersweet that you're not going to be with us on the board, but it's going to be super sweet that you're going to spend more time with your family and your loved ones, which is more important than anything else in the face of this earth. So, George, God bless you, and know that we are behind you, and I know you will be behind us every step of the way from now on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No. Uh-oh. No funny stories here, but just want to speak from the heart. So to say that George has been a mentor to me is an incredible understatement. I remember getting the call from Verna Young when she was board president that I was going to be appointed to the school board back about 8 years ago. And it was an incredibly humbling experience. I didn't expect that phone call. I had to go through the process because my wife and I talked about it, and they said, you know, these amazing individuals are being, and they didn't tell me the name, but they said, oh, they were being considered. And I said, well, you know, we have such a passion for education, I would just kick myself if I didn't even try. But I didn't expect that phone call. When I got the phone call late at night, so first person I run into when I walk in that boardroom was George McShann. And, you know, so he's been an incredible mentor to me these 8 years, but and I didn't think he was old enough to be my father, but first words out of his mouth, he says, you know, what year did you graduate from UT Austin? And I told him, 1993. He says, College of Natural Sciences? I said, yes, sir. He goes, I was at your graduation. And so he quickly reminded me that he was could be my parent. And so I graduated. I graduated with his daughter, who's here, I believe, as well, right? Down, where's Dr. Doc? Thanks for being here. Amazing. We didn't get to meet back then and come this far, and now we serve on the board together. I think, you know, I don't know what it's going to be like having a board meeting, you know, in a couple of weeks or next month, you know, without you, George, because I can tell you that you walk into a boardroom and you walk into a board meeting with George McShann, and there's an incredible sense of security and comfort because of the intellect, the integrity, and really that sense, you know, far too often nowadays, parents, unfortunately, are far too often they're friends with their kids and not parents. You know, George is a great friend, but he also plays that role where he inspires you, he empowers you, and he's always making you better. He gives you the support you need. And for me, it's been an incredible source of security and comfort just having him in the boardroom. I can't tell you how much he's impacted even my little help that I've helped, you know, Bobby since he's come on the board, and now Eladio. I've gotten that through Mr. McShann. When I was first couple of years on the board, even well after that, every time we'd go out in the community, go to schools, we'd go even in this community or state board meetings, he's always going out of his way. Nolan, come meet this gentleman. I want you to meet this person. I want you to meet, and introducing everybody to say, hey, you need to meet this young, dynamic board member, and just lifting you up. And he just has this way of doing that. He has this way of making you better. And even in the boardroom, even in executive session, you're sitting there, it's a long night, it's 11 p.m. or whatever, and he'll notice, he'll say, Dr. Muniz, what do you think? Nolan, what are your, and it just has a way of he just has this persistence and this laser focus on excellence at all times, trying to make things better. And for me, part of the things we're doing right now with the school district, you look at the transformation, it's amazing, and his fingerprints are all over it. The innovation, the choice, and the excellence and everything we're doing for students, and always being student-focused. That's just what he is. That's a part of his fabric, and it's so infectious, and you just want to be like him, and you want to serve like him. So for me, it's just very special to call him my friend and a mentor. I will tell you, not many people like Michael Jordan can retire at their peak. And you, my friend, you have done that as well. For those of you who don't know, he's still an accomplished consultant for school boards and school district. He's still very much making an impact in this state and this nation on public education. There's folks calling him all the time for his opinion from all over the country. And so he's very much at his peak of making a difference and really improving public schools for the students here in Harlingen, in South Texas, and across the state. So we're very lucky to have had him for 30 years, but I agree with what was said earlier by Jerry, that for me, the length is not, to me, as impressive as the impact he's made while he's been there. Every day, just laser focus on student success, inspiring students all day long, trying to impact the human quality, the human capital that we hire in the district. And you can see our marks all over his fingerprints all over this district. Lastly, I'll just tell you this. I don't know who's going to write his biography, and I know he won't write an autobiography. He's got far better things to do to help other people, but whoever writes his biography, I'm not so sure how they can realize the enormous impact he's made, and to sum it up, and what's the most amazing thing he's done. But to me, because I was there and I lived it, I think I would venture to say this is probably one of the top 3 or 4 things he's done. I had the pleasure of serving with him on the strategic planning committee now several years ago, 5 years ago, when this district embarked on a strategic plan. And we were both 2 board members on the strategic planning committee. And one late day, getting towards the very end of the process, we were sort of leaving out something. And I mentioned to the consultant that we hired, who was quite a feisty lady, I said, some comment that was made by one of our teachers that served and community members there about early literacy, early childhood education. I said, we cannot leave this off off the table. We have to have this part of one of our main goals here. And she quickly, no, this and that, and started to really kind of, and I'm like, does this lady not realize, what's going on? And George just, in a very quiet, but very decisive way, put his hand down and said, my colleague is right. We have to include early literacy and early childhood education. This is the foundation of and he just went on and on and on. But that was a done deal at that point. And so I would venture to say, George, that when you look what happens to this district over the next 30 years, my humble opinion is that the amazing work that we're doing on making sure we have a strong foundation with early literacy and early childhood education, I would venture to say that that's going to be one of your greatest impacts, sir. And it's been a true honor and a pleasure to serve with you, and it's even more honor and a pleasure to call you my friend. God bless you, my friend, and best of luck.
The greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively. Bob Marley. It is. It is. You know, George has been very much a big part of my family for the last 30 plus years. George has a great relationship with my mom. They've worked together on all kinds of projects. And the last 4 years, I've been able to get to meet George at a very personal level. And yes, every single word that every one of my colleagues has said today, integrity, strength, on and on, is true. The one word I didn't hear, though, is energy. Boy, does he have energy. And I remember the moment when we had our district kickoff, he and I were dancing. I got up to dance, he got up to dance with me. That was one of the most amazing times, and that's pure energy, pure life. And that's what I think of when I think of George. And, you know, the stories can go on and on. It's impossible for all of us to talk about and wrap up 30 years of history with him. So what I did is I had the privilege and the honor today to sit down with 5 leaders of our community, and I was able to ask them, hey, what does George mean to you? And so I've got this video here for you, George.
Did you enjoy having George McShan as a member of the community?
Yes, having somebody like George makes my job really easy. Having a good school board, having good people make the sacrifice that they do, makes it easy to wake up every day and to sell our community to other businesses and to the tourists coming in.
Oh, of course. I knew from the first time I met George that he was a dynamic person, that he could get things done. He's a mover, a shaker, and has the respect of the community, and I think that's what's so important. If he leads, people follow.
Absolutely. I've known George for over 40 years, and he's been fabulous with everything he's done.
Absolutely. George is one of the greatest members of our community and has done so much, not just for the school board, but for the community at large.
I would tell anybody to follow his lead, follow his direction. He knows where we need to go, and he knows how to get there, and he's the perfect leader to take you there.
In a sentence or two, what would you say to another community member about George McShan and what he's done for our community?
He really cares about the kids and the teachers. He has a different perspective, and he's able to look at multiple perspectives, from the teachers' views, the principals, the children, and he cares about each one. And it's hard, you know, when you're trying to balance things out. He never does anything just for himself. He's really thinking about the school and the needs of our education system and how to support our teachers and our principals, but also take into consideration what the kids need to learn in the everyday classroom.
Well, it's hard to do it in a sentence or two because he's done so much. He has put Harlingen on the map by being on the national board. He's done so many wonderful things for the children of the Boys and Girls Club and for the children in general in Harlingen. So I would say he's fantastic.
What George McShan has done for our education community is incalculable. He spent the last 30 years serving this district and this region and the state of Texas and the United States of America. He has worked with those of us on the board in collaboration all the way up to and including the President of the United States in trying to be positive that education in America is excellent and that it is equitable.
Well, look at the way George has lived his life and the way he's given public service to the community, because he sets a real good example for all of us to follow.
Well, for me personally, George came in as my board member and soon board president, and he helped take my organization, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Harlingen, to a higher level than we were at that time. And he made me believe in myself more than I did at the time. I was, not that I'm too much younger than you, George, but you know, he was a little bit older and definitely wiser, and he pointed me in the directions, and he's one of the reasons I can say that I've stayed for 41 years with the Boys and Girls Club.
What has your single greatest takeaway been from George McShann?
Sacrifice. For over 30 years of service, it's hard to do. I've always told people it's hard to run for any political position, to be on any board. It's a great sacrifice to time, to family, mental health. It's exceptional what he does. Sometimes it makes me feel bad because I think I could be a better person just by watching what he does.
I think meeting Lola and him together, they're such a great couple. They do things for the community without thinking about themselves, and they do things for their children. They're a good example of what to do as parents and what to do as community leaders.
His vision. George is way ahead. I can remember 15 to 18 years ago, he was talking about the fact that school districts, public school districts, needed to become districts of choice, and here we are today in 2018, a district of choice.
George has always been the most polite, gentlemanly kind of individual who, as a leader, has really inspired you to work in a cooperative manner, in a responsible manner, and to work with everybody with dignity and respect.
George was always accessible, always is accessible. He'd meet with me anytime I needed him to, whether in his office, at his home, at the club. I have to credit that to him because he's a busy man. He's got a lot of people that he needs to respond to, but he always has made time for me, and we share a genuine, warm friendship that I treasure.
What exactly did you like most about George McShann?
Always be positive. Every time I met George, Mr. McShann, I met him back in Mission, talking about 7 years ago when he was helping with the superintendent search there. He always smiled, no matter what it was, no matter what we asked. He always kept a smile, and I'm always told I need to smile more, so maybe I need to take more of that into consideration. Time management, I don't know how he does it. I know he's extremely busy. I know every school board member is. And, it's truly humbling to see what they do and how much time they put into it and how they're able to balance work life, family life, and civil service. I think the other thing is just hard work. I don't think he ever bowed down away from hard work. From whether it's school board or whether it's professional life, hard work speaks volumes, and I think it's something we miss out today. And I think people like George exemplify that, and it's truly an honor to have known him and to get that kind of benefit and just to see it in action. A lot of people talk the talk. I mean, as cliche as it sounds, George actually did walk it though.
I think just his personality. He motivates people. He inspires people to do things. He's just a great example of a human being.
I appreciate his passion, and I appreciate his willingness and his ability to collaborate with others to achieve the benefits that we all want.
George is always fun, and he's always got a smile on his face. But he's there to do a job, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get that job done. But you know that you're going to have a good time with him while you're doing it.
What are 3 benefits you've experienced as a result of working with George McShann?
Well, I'll have to tell you, I'm on several boards with him, and the one thing that he has helped me most in is the Boys and Girls Club. He always does his job. He always brings me in a lot of sponsors to help the Boys and Girls Club keep going, and a lot of golf tournament teams. He's just wonderful. And then on CBDG board, he's been a very wise person. He always gives us information from his experience that helps us make good decisions. But the third one would be just friendship. He's a good friend, and whenever I've needed him, either for something for my family or something for the community, he's been there for me. George, we know you're going to be around, but we're going to miss you on the school board and in that leadership position, and I wish you the best for the rest of your life.
Well, one benefit is a lifelong friendship based on respect and sharing of goals, and I appreciate that very much. It means a great deal to me. The second is the ability to learn from him how important it is that we all work together, as I said before, that we collaborate, that we build consensus, and we work together toward a common goal. And the third is that I believe, my husband once said that George McShann is the example of what Martin Luther King Jr. must have meant when he talked about the American who would make it all happen. And I believe that George's emphasis in his life on public education has made it happen, success and equity happen in this country for countless thousands. And I believe that it will, what he has set in place has been legendary, and that it will continue in perpetuity.
One of the things I'd like to say about George is when we had a problem back in 2008, shortly after I became mayor, with increased gang violence in our community, I turned to George and asked him to be the chairman of a steering committee that would look at the community's response, not just the police department's response, but the community's response to this. And he accepted that challenge and did a beautiful job in organizing a committee that helped us, combined with our work of our police force, to reduce juvenile violence in this community by 70% in 18 months. He did a fantastic job, and we owe George a great debt of gratitude.
Well, one, I learned to be more professional in how I deal with people. He's always at his professional best. I learned not to be afraid to speak my cause in public, because he's obviously a gifted public speaker and one we can all learn from. And number three, I learned that true lifelong friends are a valuable asset, not just for what they can do for you, but what they mean to the community and what they mean to so many people.
George, thank you for 30 years of outstanding leadership and service to our community.
So Board Member Eladio Jaimes' job took him out of state, but he did send a message, a video message as well. So let's listen to that one.
I think that when we think of George McShann's legacy, not just to HCISD, but to public education in general, the word that comes to mind is advocacy. You know, for the last 30 years and beyond that, he's been a strong advocate, not just for public education or HCISD, but the individual students in his community. In 1997, my mom and myself walked into a school board meeting where we were to address the school board. I was 19 years old, and I had never spoken to a group of professionals before. We were there to request something. The school board discussed it. It didn't go our way. You know, my mom doesn't speak English. One of the board members came over and explained why we were turned down for our request. And he explained to us in Spanish. You know, my mom was sad about it. I was upset about it. But as I was leaving the school board meeting, I heard a voice that said, "Hey young man, can I talk to you?" And I turned around and it was Mr. McShann. And he'd been on the board at that time maybe 10 years. And I went over, he said, "Let me explain something to you. Because you guys didn't get your way here today. Things didn't work out. But I need you to tell your mom, and I need you to know that you represented your family very well. You spoke eloquently, and you made a strong case. But the board has to stand by its decision. But I wanted you to know that you did a good job." That meant a lot to me because, like I said, I had never spoken to a group of professionals in my life at that point. The fact that George took time and tracked me down to tell me that really stuck with me and has stuck with me my whole life. And I'm not going to sit here and lie and say And at that moment, I decided to run for school board one day. No. But I knew that if I ever did seek public office, that if I ever was lucky enough to be a public servant in this community, I was going to treat people, I was going to treat students the way George McShan treated me that day. George, thank you. Thank you for what you have done to me and the influence you have made in my life, but mostly thank you for what you have done for the students of Harlingen, the Valley, and the state of Texas.
Truly incredible. I'd like to offer a few words and clarify a few points that were made. So during the strategic planning process, indeed, Mr. McShan influenced the importance of early education, early childhood education. But he turned to me and he said, now, Superintendent, have we paid that lady? no. I said, Mr. McShan, shh. Don't ask that question. So anyway, that was not in my script. But anyway, he has been involved in hiring several superintendents. He said he got it right with it. I'm just saying. Okay, he didn't say that either. Okay, let's move on. So they get better. Is that what you said? No. Anyway, in 1988, our school district began a journey forever, impacted by his legacy. From the day he joined the HCISD Board of Trustees, Mr. McShan has touched the lives of thousands of students, parents, staff, and community members. Mr. McShan grew up with education on the forefront of his mind. His mother and father stressed the importance of him receiving his education despite obstacles of segregation that existed at the time. Class president, captain of his sports team, all-star quarterback. I don't know if that's true, but no. Mr. McShan was a leader in the making. First-generation college student, he obtained his bachelor's degree in agricultural science. A career opportunity to teach science in a Brownsville high school brought him to our region, and a leadership opportunity at TSDC brought him to Harlingen. Mr. McShan's campaign pitch for his 1988 candidacy: every student can succeed. It's these words that have guided him in all his actions as an educator, a parent, and a board of trustees. He's a strong advocate for our children. This advocacy, combined with his leadership skills, led him to serve as president of the state and national school board associations. You know, one of Harlingen's strongest qualities is our board of trustees. Their efforts to work as a team complement their individual personalities and sense of grace, poise, and passion. Mr. McShan, you've been a leader among leaders, and I thank you for your service. You've held an exemplary career here in Harlingen. There are examples everywhere in the district of your impact. Facilities, policies, and most important, individual lives that you have touched under your leadership. You are committed to the success of our students, staff, and community. Your commitment has influenced the trust our community has with our district. Character is of high importance to you, and we appreciate you encouraging students to be guided by their moral compass. This is an invaluable lesson that you pass on to many students. You know, this is a bittersweet moment for me. I began my own personal journey with Harlingen CISD in 2001 and have always known this district with Mr. McShan in it. We're going to miss you, but we know this isn't a goodbye. I'm proud to stand on the shoulders of a giant such as yourself, and I assure you HCISD is in good hands. We'll continue to make you proud. God bless you, your lovely family. God bless HCISD, and God bless our country and our state. We'll reach, we'll aspire, and we'll continue to dare to be, because we are HCISD. And as a capstone, I'm pleased to report that last week, Harlingen High School South student Erica Hernandez was just named the state champion in the UIL Barbara Jordan Essay Contest. Her paper was entitled, George McShan, Proving Every Child Can Succeed. It is beautifully written and provides an incredible summary of your journey and your passion for educational excellence. Erica's essay will forever be archived in the LBJ Library at the University of Texas of Austin for others to read and enjoy. As a matter of fact, Erica is here this evening to provide you with a special gift. Erica. Let's give it up for Erica again. Thank you, Erica. I'll conclude my remarks by saying that I too echo the sentiments of all the board. Thank you for being a great leader, a mentor, and a great friend. You will be greatly missed, but we know that we turn you back to your beautiful family who has done without while you have served us. And so thank you for all you've done. So you deserve a standing ovation.
Oh my, oh my. Goodness.
Oh my.
I must humbly say that words really matter. My observation tonight is that your expression of love, not just for me, but for humanity. I want to thank my fellow Board of Trustees. Your words, your actions mean so much to me personally. I'm indebted to you, grateful, and let me tell you, HCISD is in great hands. We have a great board. We really do. Give them a big round of applause. And a superintendent, Dr. Art Cavazos. Yes, I've been around the block a few times, and we've done well, hiring great leaders. And I will say this, Dr. Cavazos is leading this district, not only in this region, the state, but the nation. And he does it with a great administrative team of administrators and principals and teachers and support staff. They believe in him because he empowers them and their ideas really matter. We're so proud of you, Doc. Thank you so very much. And now I'm going to be brief. I must say this, I got really emotional and touched, the video. Look, I didn't know anything about this. No, you didn't. And Dr. Munoz, I'm glad you're a pharmacist, so if something happens and Dr. Pettis, yeah, I probably will. That's okay. Yes. I do want to say that it starts really with my family. Growing up in Central Texas, Erica Hernandez, who presented the award for the Barbara Jordan Essay Contest, is for African Americans, past and present. And to be the state winner means so much. The article that she wrote, I think should be enshrined, I think in HCISD, when we have Black History Month. It should be required reading.
Second emotion.
You know, I didn't know, but when Erica interviewed me, first of all, she said, Mr. McShann, I want to interview you. I said, yes, okay, fine. So finally set a date. She said, well, I can meet you at Starbucks. I said, no, you won't meet me at Starbucks. We come into the administration building. See, I'm wise, right? That story depicts really my life. And in the video, you saw a picture of from my parents, and I get somewhat emotional because about 1 year, May 27th, I lost my mom. And I must say that my mom really was a brilliant individual, smart. She was not able to finish high school because we know what the conditions were back then. Having to travel 25 miles to Austin to finish 12th grade, because in Utley, Texas, you could only go to I think 11th grade. So she had to stop there. Met my dad, and the rest is history. But my family here with me tonight, my wife, Lola has been by my side and allowed me to do all this stuff. Honestly, I couldn't do this without you, Lola. Thank you so much, honey. But I have a special person in the house tonight. It's my sister, Gladys McShann Barnes. Gladys, give her a wave.
Gladys.
Okay. Now Gladys is she's like my mom in many ways. She's a professional nurse, but her heart is about what God made us to be. She's a wonderful person. I'm so glad she's here. She really represents my mom and dad, and the best that you can find in an individual. So Gladys, I'm so glad you're here to witness this, and thank you so very much, Gladys. Well, the children, Marlo, you sit front and center. Marlo McShann, everybody probably knows Marlo. I never will forget, I'm doing all this in the community. They say, hey, you're Marlo's dad. I mean, come on, really, right. And Marlo was quite a wonderful individual, quite an athlete, a lot of personality. And Marlo is in Austin, as you know. He has that fitness, wellness business he's doing, and it's incredible. And he brought, my granddaughter, Ashley. Ashley, raise your hand, Ashley. There he is. Ashley just turned 15, and she tried to help me understand what it means to be out of touch. I love you, Ashley. Thank you so very much. You're wonderful. She really is. And then there's the child that graduated with Dr. Pettis, Dr. Sonia McShann, also a medical doctor. Sonia, psychiatrist. And my daughter, Lemetria. Now, Lemetria is the kindest, most loving of all my children. Lemetria, she is, no doubt about it. And then there's Linda Johnson. I introduce you tonight to my daughter, Linda. Linda is an educator, fine arts music teacher in Lancaster ISD. Linda. And my two grandchildren, Isaiah, also a music teacher, strings, orchestra, in Midland, Texas, teaching there his first year. Isaiah. And Sierra. Sierra, too, is a fine arts music teacher in Lancaster. Sierra? And I must say that Marlo, Linda, and Sonia are UT Austin graduates, Longhorns, all three.
You can clap louder.
Now, I will say this. When you look at my biography, in my time, I'm reminded of probably the debate of Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry. I remember that debate about does education should be public or should it be private? And private meaning it should be in a parochial or church school. Well, Jefferson won that debate with public education that started way back in 1789. And I'm a student of history, and understanding that the Constitution was not whole, but there was an evolution of the Constitution in which we know what happened, Brown versus Board of Education. And we knew that the Constitution was made whole based on that Supreme Court ruling. So it was left up to us then to do what's necessary to make sure that when that opportunity comes that we are in a position to take advantage of it. I was one of those young people who did that because of my parents, my grandparents. There was so much there. When I say every student can succeed, and I believe that in this district, it does not matter to me. The only thing that matters to me is that every individual should have an equal life chance to reach their hopes and dreams in life. Though I grew up in an African American community, went to a segregated school, went to Oklahoma State on a fellowship to go on and get a master's and doctorate. Didn't happen. Fate had it, I ended up in Brownsville, Texas, long story short. It's not the place that matters, folks. It's the people that matter. I've impacted more people than I could ever imagine in the right way. Keep in mind that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Making a life, that's the most important thing. Special interests to me are students. I don't do deals. I only do the right thing. And that's what this board, that's what this culture is about in this district. We're so proud of that. I'm eternally grateful for your recognition, for showcasing what can be, what's possible. And let's continue to carry on. We have to carry on that vision, that mission, and focus like a laser on what's right for all of our children so that they all can be successful and say they're very proud to be products of HCISD. Thank you all so very, very much.
And so the agenda item did say recognition for his service as board president for 2017-18, and we have a ceremonial gavel for him. I think he has like 20, but hey, we just have to follow procedures here. So, so I'd like to present you with in appreciation of his service as board president, recognized by HCISD for 2017-18 school year, for Mr. McShann.
It's time. Let's take a short recess. Thank you.
Thank you for being patient with us on the 10, 15-minute pause to give time for the family and friends of George McShann to take some pictures and have some final memories of this special day. So with that, we're going to go to awards and recognitions. First is going to be recognition of the Harlingen High School South One-Act Play State Champions, presented by Leanne Ice. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Throw one of those flowers at me. It's okay.
That's all right. Well, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administrative team, and esteemed guests, it is my honor and privilege to recognize the Harlingen High School South UIL One-Act Play cast, crew, alternates, and directors this evening. The League's One-Act Play Contest, founded in 1927, is the largest high school play production or play festival in the world. More than 14,000 Texas high school students in more than 1,200 plays participate in 300-plus contests each year. In the 92 years One-Act Play has been in existence, the Rio Grande Valley has brought home only 2 state championships, Mission in 1935 and San Benito in 1961. Harlingen High School South 2018 will now be added to that list. Their journey began in late February, where they advanced from zone, district, by district, area, region, until they made it to the final 8 in the 6A One-Act Play state meet in Round Rock. They competed against 6A schools such as Fort Bend, George Bush, Cibolo Steele, and Carnegie Vanguard, just to name a few. This group not only represented the Rio Grande Valley with pride, but HCISD as well, by becoming the first UIL team state champions in the district's history. With that said, let's recognize these remarkable students. And I'm going to announce them by the role they played. First, I'd like to recognize James Gracia, Sr., who played the role of Clifford. I want to point out that James won Best Actor at district, by district, area, regionals, and he didn't stop there. He won Best Actor at the state meet, and he didn't stop there. He thought he was done, but then they said, we're going to announce the Samuel French Award. That is the highest acting award at the state meet for the student that gives the best overall performance that evening. And it went to, you named it, James Gracia. Next is Savannah Smith, a senior, who played the role of Terry. There are 8 all-star cast members named at the state meet, and Savannah was named as one of those 8 all-star cast members, and if any of you had the chance to see her perform, it was nothing short of brilliant. Congratulations. And rounding out the cast as Patsy, sophomore, Natalie Perez. Senior Christian Ingram as Gene. Junior Mark Colmenares as Al. Junior John Duncan as Ziggy. And Senior Nathaniel Carney as Jonesy. These may have been your principal cast members, but they certainly did not do it alone without the help of the crew, the alternates, and then I'll finally get to the directors. This has been a long time coming, folks, this state championship. Our lighting guru, Mr. Christopher Smith, is a senior. The sound in this show, she didn't just push a button and say play. She found and researched the music to the period of this show that was so crucial and stayed calm throughout everything that could have gone wrong. Elizabeth Everett, Senior. And keeping our backstage organized with all props in their correct place, our stage manager, sophomore, Carmela Benavides. Christian Villarreal Jr. helped create the side lighting effects that made this show memorable. Ramiro Gonzalez Jr. was also responsible for the lovely side lighting. I must acknowledge the alternates because they are state champions as well. The alternates do everything from steam the costumes to make sure they're not wrinkled, to step in and fill in for students every day at practice. We are very honored to have them with us. Isabella Connell, Jr. Joseph DeCelios, sophomore. Alexa Strubart, freshman. And Haley Alejandro, freshman. Mr. McShann would have liked the last part of this Cinderella story because these two young ladies that I'm about to acknowledge now, I think, made this whole journey for me so much more emotional because I remember them as they were 14-year-old wide-eyed freshmen walking into Harlingen High School South. They are products of HCISD, and they gave back, and boy, did they give back in a big way. I would like to recognize your state one-act play directors, Mrs. Megan Conley and Mrs. Julia Wise. Is that it? Would the board like to come down and take a picture, please? You didn't bring the trophy? Oh, Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. There we go. Mr. President, if I could just tell you how proud that I am, but I know if I can speak for the board in this proud moment, it's not often you get a state championship in anything, especially when you're dealing with such talent around the state. So for us to have a state championship, one act play is just truly remarkable, and we're very, very proud. I was there, and I know Dr. Cavazos was there. I am also very proud to say that of the 8 finalists that were there competing for the 1X state to be the state champion, we had the only superintendent that was there the whole time, actually there at all. The other superintendent, they didn't show up. He not only was there, but he was there the whole day until 1:30 a.m. until they announced the state championships. Let's give him a round of applause. Truly a superintendent who just likes to live in the success and support our students. So I just also want to say a special word about Leanne Ince. Leanne, and you saw the emotion from the microphone, from the dais there. Leanne, this is pours her heart and her soul into this program, and now for the past year or more has been pouring her heart and soul into all of our school district. And so we're proud to say that we have the same level of talent at all the other schools. And for those of you who didn't see Chicago, the performance at Harlingen High School, just amazing level of talent. And so we thank Leanne Ince for creating that, equally amazing talent across the school district and our other comprehensive high schools. So, and of course, the Fine Arts Academy that's starting down the road. Finally, I just would say, just as a true support for the program, if you can, please make it out on May 23rd. We will be here at the PAC, so they'll have a fundraiser and a sort of their last final, I guess, encore performance of Sideman. So if you haven't seen Sideman, you can have a chance to see them again May 23rd here at the PAC, I think at 6 o'clock or 6:30. Anyway, but we encourage you to come back and support our state championship team and see them one more time in action. So again, let's give it up again for Leanne Ince and for Megan and Julia and the whole state championship team.
Thank you, Dr. Perez. Next is the recognition of the Harlingen High School, Harlingen High School South, Early College High School, and Harlingen High School Health Professionals Top 10 students. Shane?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, Dr. Cavazos, trustees, administration, and audience. Tonight, we celebrate excellence in our student body by recognizing the top 10 students from Harlingen High School South, Early College High School, and for the first time, Harlingen School of Health Professions. All of these students have worked very hard to earn their positions as a top student among their peers. Recently, they sat down with Dr. Art Cavazos to speak about their educational journey. There was one common message that resonated from these students. They could not have made it without the love and support of their parents. If you are a parent of one of these students here tonight, would you please stand and be recognized? Parents. Thank you, parents. Our top 10 students are the embodiment of a world-class education and are a symbol of excellence for our district. We congratulate these students on their achievements and look forward to seeing them at our district's commencement ceremonies on June 1st and June 2nd. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Dr. Cavazos, would you please come forward to help us recognize these outstanding students? The following students are representatives of their campus top 10 for the 2017-2018 school year, beginning with Harlingen High School. Valedictorian Nathan Ramon. Salutatorian Brandy Cantu. Ryan Arnold. Riley Salceda. Irene Tyler. Gabriel Lorenzo Luasis. Garrison Medley. Adrian Bazan. Natasha Trevino. And Luke Disque. Ladies and gentlemen, your Harlingen High School top 10 students. Trustees would like to get together for a group photo. No, this way. Okay, from Harlingen High School, your valedictorian and state champion in that essay, Erica Hernandez. Did I say? Harlingen High School South. Did I say South? South. I know Mr. Reyes is out there. He said, Mr. Strubart. Your salutatorian, Jacob Fraga. Albert Alvarez. Mia Medrano. Matthew Moore. Ashley Garcia. Jared Wagner. Jesse Alfaro. Hunter Lamon. Jerry Leffner. Ladies and gentlemen, your Harlingen High School South top 10 students. Okay, moving on to early college high school. Your valedictorian and award-winning author, Caitlin Renteria. Salutatorian, Mercedes Vasquez. Lisbeth Herrera. Aspen Jackson. Jalen Rivera. Alyssa Salinas. Michael Mockner. Christian Garza. Michelle Padilla. Pauline Huff. Ladies and gentlemen, your early college high school top 10 students. And now, the legacy class of Harlingen School of Health Professions. Your valedictorian, Arlie Gonzalez. Salutatorian, Jaime Ramirez. Hannah Brady. Ashley Esparza. Sean Turbiates. Caitlin Grant. Madison San Miguel. Davian Ortega. Kayla De Leon. And Costanza Ruiz. Ladies and gentlemen, your legacy top 10 class from the Harlingen School of Health Professions.
All the top 10 for doing a fantastic job. And not only did you work hard in the classroom, but now you're going to be ambassadors when you leave our campus and CHISD. So congratulations to you, to the family, and remember where you received your education, HCISD. Congratulations, everyone. Next, probably the most important individuals on our campus, which is the recognition of 2017-2018 HCISD Teachers of the Year. Shane?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, Dr. Cavazos, trustees, administration, and esteemed audience. The greatest institution for social change is the public education system, and the greatest instrument of change is the teacher. No other democracy created by man to promote the welfare of all people has ever existed. Our schools and our teachers have always been the catalyst for human progress. Here at HCISD are the very finest teachers touching the lives of over 18,000 students each and every day. It gives us great honor to recognize 29 of HCISD's very best tonight. The Teacher of the Year Award is given to educators that continue to go above and beyond for our students and work towards preparing our students for global achievement. The teachers we're going to recognize this evening have a great deal of responsibility as they represent and embody the beliefs and ideals of teachers from their campus and our district. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Dr. Cavazos, would you please come forward to help us recognize these incredible educators? We begin with our Elementary Teachers of the Year. From Austin Elementary, Diana Sherrick. From Bonham Elementary, Bethany Pretchell. From Bowie Elementary, Lizeth Medina. From Crockett Elementary, Natalie Cortez. Got an excited principal over here. From Dishman Elementary, Peggy Sue Reyna. From Houston Elementary, Rose Hernandez. From Jefferson Elementary, Israel Guetta Jr. From Lamar Elementary, Yolanda Mares. From the Lee H. Means Fine Arts Academy, Maria Martinez. From Long Elementary, Sandra Banda. From Rodriguez Elementary, Victoria Marin. From Stewart Place Elementary, Mandy Zapata. From Travis Elementary, Nelda Tobar. From Treasure Hills Elementary, Chad Bender. From Wilson Elementary, Maria Posada. From Zavala Elementary, Cecilia Garcia. And now, representing her campus as well as our entire district as Elementary Teacher of the Year, from Milam Elementary, Miss Noelia Garza. Ms. Garza has taught students at HCISD for 13 years. She continues to inspire and encourage her students by connecting learning to real life. A true model for our students, she leads by example, teaching her students to become lifelong learners. Ms. Garza spearheads the digital classrooms at Milam, sponsors the Coding Club, and coaches UIL and various other activities on campus. Ladies and gentlemen, your Elementary Teachers of the Year. Rolling, don't you roll. I got a backup photographer over here just in case. So you probably noticed there are beautiful photos on the screen. They will have a billboard going up in June. So all of June, we'll be featuring our Teachers of the Year on a billboard. Thank you, Roland, for taking all those photos. Okay, moving on to our secondary campuses. From Coakley Middle School, Alma Arenas. From Gutierrez Middle School, Denise Molina. From Memorial Middle School, Beatriz Alanis. From Bella Middle School, Sarah Abbott. From Dr. Kano P. Freshman Academy, Cynthia Ann Santana. From Harlingen School of Health Professions, Ana Riojas. From Early College High School, Rachel Hortanovich. From Harlingen High School, Michelle Everett. From Harlingen High School South, Marcus Almanza. From Keys Academy, Oneida Trevino. From the Secondary Alternative Center, Carla Aguilar. And now, representing his campus as well as our entire district as Secondary Teacher of the Year, from Vernon Middle School, Mr. Manuel Garcia. Mr. Garcia has enjoyed 6 years of experience, 5 of which have been spent at Vernon, working with students in the speech and drama program. He works to engage his students through technology and student-centered activities. But more significantly, he works to instill in them good character traits that will carry them through life. Outside of the classroom, Mr. Garcia serves as his school's UIL coordinator and soccer coach. Ladies and gentlemen, your Secondary Teachers of the Year.
Is there any comments from the board? Yeah. I don't think it's pressed the button.
I would like to say thank you so much for all of the excellence and the energy that these people are bringing to our children every single day. Greg and I were just saying how wonderful it would be even to bring our own children back and our families and have them have the opportunity to have these teachers, how outstanding they are, and our students who are, just doing marvelous things. And I think how fortunate the colleges and universities are to get them. Hallelujah.
Great comment. Thank you, Jerry. Next is the recognition of PTSA Students of the Month for May, Mariana Vela. Garcia.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. Tonight I will first be recognizing our May Harlingen City Council PTSA Students of the Month. These students proudly represent Harlingen High School South, Early College High School, and Harlingen School of Health Professions. Our KHGN students have created exceptional videos throughout the year, and we hope you enjoy our final one of 2018.
My name is Caleb Garland, and I am a 12th grader here at Harlingen High School. I am currently the president of Cards for Christ, which I've been the president for 2 years. I'm also a member of my youth group where I am also in leadership, and I'm also a member of my praise team at my church. I also participated in boys basketball for the 4 years that I attended here. Well, they both go hand in hand, so I'd have to say the thing that I'm most passionate with is my relationship with Jesus Christ, and that's something that I've been passionate about ever since I made that decision, and it really spurs on my dream because I feel personally called to be a pastor when I grow up, so that's my dream, is to just go and be used by God to impact lives. I want to go to Stephen Austin University, and I want to study public communications, and then after I'm done with my bachelor's degree there, I'm going to move on to seminary and get a year of biblical teachings. My name is Ociel Verde. I'm a senior at Harlingen High School. I'm in a lot of activities, and I've been a leader in most of them, and some that jump out to me are the digital marketing team. I'm the co-editor-in-chief. I am vice president of the Rotary Interact Club, president of BPA, FBLA, vice president of Science Club. What I'm passionate about is being an advocate for people, and that's something that I dream of in the future, being a representative of change and reform and just being a voice for the voiceless, and that's something that I've always been passionate about and have wanted to do in the future. In the fall, I'll be attending UT, but currently I'm undeclared. But because I want to be an advocate and a speaker for people, some platforms that will allow me that is communications or journalism. I like to write, and things that'll give me a platform to be a spokesperson.
My name is Jacqueline Reese. I attend Harlingen High School South, and I am in 12th grade. I'm in the Ecology Club, Student Council, and band, in Yearbook. I'm the Senior Editor-in-Chief for Yearbook this year. I really like photography a lot, so I was honored when I got the leadership role for Yearbook, and I want to minor in that so I can continue to work on the side with photography. I'm going to be attending Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and I'm a minor in photography and a major in business marketing.
My name is Jordan Jackson. I'm in the 12th grade, and I go to Harlingen High School South. Some of the activities that I'm in are cheerleading and PTSA, the Parent Student Teacher Administration, and I'm the treasurer of that. My dream is to become an orthodontist. I'm going to go to Texas State University and then eventually transfer to A&M Dental School, and my goal is to become an orthodontist. I'm going to Texas State University in San Marcos, and I'm going to study biology.
My name is Pauline Huff, and I'm a senior at Early College High School. At school, I'm a member of National Honor Society, and outside of school, I volunteer at Temple Bethel in Brownsville, my local synagogue, and I also work part-time at Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen as a waitress. I'm passionate about art, technology, and traveling. I'd really like to be able to see the world one day, and so once I finish with college, that's one of my biggest dreams and goals, is to be able to have a job that will give me the financials in order to fulfill that. I'm going to attend Rice University in the fall. I'll be studying computer science and electrical engineering.
My name is Caitlin Renteria. I am in the 12th grade and I attend Early College High School. I am currently an active member of National Honor Society. I was team captain for my school's Battle of the Books Club book organization, and I'm president of the Senior Mentors. I'm very passionate about reading and writing. I very much enjoy writing, and I always look forward to literacy events and just book fairs and library events all over the valley, and I always try to go and help out and promote and really advocate literacy, especially for the younger students. I want to go to school, and I plan to attend school at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, where I'll pursue a bachelor's of science in psychology, and then after that I plan to transfer to Texas A&M Corpus Christi to pursue a doctorate degree.
My name is Shantu Dubiatis. I'm a senior at the Harlingen School of Health Professions. I'm involved in NHS and Student Council. In Student Council, I'm the president for that organization, and NHS, I'm the treasurer. I'm most passionate about basketball because it's just an escape from the outside world, and it just lets me be myself on the court and off the court. It's just something I enjoy to do every day. I am going to the University of Texas at Austin. I'm going to be studying civil engineering.
My name is Michael Garza. I go to Harlingen School of Health Professions and am a senior. Well, I'm actually in a lot of activities relating to music. I'm in all of Harlingen South's jazz bands. I'm in their salsa band as well. And then here at Health Professions, I'm in HOSA, I'm in National Honor Society, and I am in PTSA. I'm very, very passionate about music. I've been in it since I was a little kid, and I want to continue it throughout all my life, regardless of what my job is. I want to be playing on the side, and if I can professionally, I definitely want to do it. It brings me joy, and it's a way for me to truly express how I'm feeling, where I'm feeling, what I'm thinking about, and my ideas. I've always done math since I was 4 years old. I was forced to do it, but I guess I like it now because it's all I can think about. It's all I want to do for the rest of my life because nothing else really makes sense to me other than numbers. I'll be going to Texas A&M College Station, and I'll be studying aerospace engineering. I'm really excited to be an Aggie and to even be a cadet. It's going to be a life-changing experience for me.
At this time, I'd like to ask any parents or grandparents of the Students of the Month in the audience to stand to be recognized. And I saw some of y'all recording, and this video will be on YouTube tomorrow if you want to rewatch it again. Before we begin taking photos, I'd like to recognize our KHGN students who work diligently throughout the year to complete all of the Student of the Month videos. Without their assistance and cooperation with the campuses and PTSAs, these videos would not be possible. And although I do not believe they are here with us this evening, I would like to recognize Damien Pesina, Noah Leal, and Brandon Del Angel. Thank you for your hard work and contributions to the Media Arts and Communications Academy. So at this time, Harlingen City Council PTA Vice President Tammy Swope is coming to present our students with their certificates. From Harlingen High School, we have Caleb Garland. Osiel could not be with us this evening. From Harlingen High School South, we have Jordan Jackson. We also have Jackie Ruiz. We have Caitlin Renteria from Early College High School. Also representing Early College High School is Pauline Huff. From Harlingen School of Health Professions, we have Michael Garza. We also have Sean Turubiates. I'd like to invite the board to come take a photo with our May PTSA Students of the Month.
Next is the recognition of the UIL Sweepstakes Award recipients. Ronnie Rios.
Good evening, Mr. Vice President, Dr. Cavazos, Board of Trustees, senior team, ladies and gentlemen. A UIL Sweepstakes Award in the world of music education is the highest honor given to secondary music programs by the UIL in Texas. It is given to groups earning a Division I rating for all facets of their performance, including the concert, stage performance, sight reading, and, if applicable, marching band. I'm proud to announce that Harlingen CISD has an abundance of these award-winning groups. Tonight, I'd like to recognize the programs and their award-winning teachers. Mr. Vice President, Dr. Cavazos, would you please join us up front for this special presentation? Starting off, with award-winning Coakley Middle School Band, Director Lehigh Sanchez. Memorial Middle School Band, Julie Garcia. Gutierrez Middle School Band, Bill Bennett. And Helidoro Bravo. Vela Middle School Band, Estella Monosmith. And Erica Uribe. Harlingen South Band, Shane Shinsato. Laura Benavides. Jose Garcia. Mr. Shinsato. What do we have one more after this? There's another one for you. Harlingen High School Band, Maria Coronado. Rob Larios. Manny Hernandez. Melanie Kulaga. And Omar Blanco. And just so that everybody's wondering, what about the choirs? What about the orchestras? We actually presented them with their sweepstakes recognition at the last board meeting in April. However, we did have two groups very special to UIL, that was their welcome to UIL this year. We had two full orchestras for the first time in the history of Region 28 and Cameron County. Harlingen South and Harlingen High School put together full orchestras, and they both earned a sweepstakes. Incredible. Starting off with, yes, congratulations. South High School, full orchestra, Sarah Beth Geith and Shane Shinsato. Just shake your hands. Harlingen High School, Ronnie Rios.
on.
Okay, thank you. This evening, it was wonderful to have an opportunity to meet all of Mr. McShann's family. Thank you. So I said, it's very exciting to see all the fine arts people in your family. That's really exciting. I said, you know, in Harlingen, we love the fine arts. And the response was, oh, we know about Harlingen, the fine arts. We've been to TMA. We know who's there. And so I thought that was wonderful. So congratulations to Ronnie and to all of our teachers. Thank you so much. We do have a legacy here of excellent music, and we're proud of that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jerry. Next is approval of minutes on April 10th, 2018. What's the will of the board?
Vice President, move approval of the April 10th, 2018 regular board meeting minutes as presented.
There's a motion on the floor by Dr. Perez. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Second by Dr. Muñez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Next is the May 1st, 2018 special board meeting. Is there a motion on the floor?
I move that the minutes be approved as submitted.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Powers, second by Ms. Fleury. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor of May 1st approval, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Next is the approval of consent calendar. Is there a motion on the floor?
Move approval of the.
I'm sorry. Before we do that,
Okay.
is there a motion on the floor for approval of the consent calendar agenda aside from 5F that will be pulled from the consent
Mr. President,
calendar?
I move approval of consent calendar as presented, except for item 5F, which we'll discuss separately.
There's a motion on the floor by Dr. Pettis. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Second by Ms. Fleury. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next is the principal's report.
Item 5F.
Oh, I'm sorry. 5F, consideration approval of membership in the Region 1 Consortium for the Internet Access Services, 10 gigabytes fiber connectivity.
Yes,
Julio Cavazos.
Mr. Vice President, Julio Cavazos will be presenting on that item.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon, Dr. Cavazos, board members. We would like to table this item. Additional information is needed to finalize the agreement, so we would like to table it.
Is there a motion on the table on the motion to table this?
Motion to table, so move.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Perez. I didn't catch who seconded it.
Bobby.
Dr. Muniz, second the motion. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion has been tabled. Next, if the principal is still here.
She's right there.
Still awake. Is the principal report for Travis Elementary. Mr. Rangel. And her staff. We can hear them, but we can't see them because of the lights.
Good evening, Mr. De Leon, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. Thank you for the opportunity to highlight the great things that are happening at Travis Elementary. This evening, I am happy to present one of the many successes as a result of our partnership with Raise Your Hand Texas. Raising Family Partnerships is a family engagement fellowship for public schools, principals, and their leadership teams across the state, sponsored by Raise Your Hand Texas. The program seeks to redesign how families, schools, and communities collaborate to improve student achievement. Because at Travis Elementary, we value and understand the roles that families play in a child's education, last year, a team from Travis Elementary submitted an application to Raise Your Hand Texas for the Raising Family Partnerships Fellowship. So last summer, Mr. Saldivar, my assistant principal, and Dr. Jose Luis Cavazos and I were selected as a team, along with 25 other teams across the state of Texas, to participate in a week-long, intensive, all-expenses-paid design camp. The application process included an analysis of current practices as it pertained to family engagement. It also included interviews with stakeholders, so we had the opportunity to interview parents, teachers, and some of our students. And we also made a very strong commitment to redesign family engagement. So during the week-long and very intense camp, we received professional development on family engagement, We completed a root cause analysis in which we took a deep look at our practices to find out the cause and really the why we lacked a strong engagement, family engagement at our school. And so we also developed a customized strategic family engagement plan for Travis Elementary. So then in August, we began the implementation of our plan. And throughout the school year, we have participated in monthly coaching calls with Marcela Andres, who is the program director for Raise Your Hand Texas. So during these coaching calls, we give Ms. Andres an update on the implementation of our plan, and then she gives us valuable feedback. Additionally, in February, we attended the Raise Your Hand Texas Symposium in Houston, where we received additional professional development on family engagement. In this school year, we have had several family nights to engage our parents in student learning, such as our STEM family night, our family reading day, our STAR family night, where we provided information to parents on the new STAR report card for 3rd through 5th grade students. But one of our biggest successes, and the one that we are the most proud of, is our parent mentoring program. And so at this time, I want to show you a video that will highlight the impact that Raising Family Partnerships initiative has had at Travis Elementary through the development of our parent mentoring program. Raise Your Hand Texas has a variety of camps that they offer during the summer, all of it around the topic of raising family partnerships. We have done a number of things, but one of the biggest successes that we have had here at Travis as a result of this camp was that we started a parent mentoring program here at Travis Elementary.
I work with kids that are struggling with reading and math, and this was a great way for me to connect parents with students and get these students the help that they needed more help than what I could give them, and especially reading. Studies really show that when you read to kids, progress is made. And so this is a way to gain student achievement, positive role models too for the kids to look at.
Some of the things that we learn here is math and reading, multiplication, addition, subtraction. I learn about the stories and what's the problem.
It's also a positive thing because when the kids see the little mistakes that they make, they know they're smart. Now each kid has a different thing that they need to be working on. We use Tango, I use iStation results, which pinpoint exactly the areas that the kids need help in. So then I produce the lessons for the parents and the kids work on them with the parents and so forth, and then they're actually targeting the specific area that the child needs help in.
Basically what we do is we come in and we assist the kids with some of their reading, writing skills. We try to get them more relaxed in their environment so they think of learning as fun and wanting to learn more, wanting to crave more.
It's just a really neat way to build relationships and instill a little bit more hope in a child that may be struggling and a little frustrated and perhaps their grades aren't reflecting what they really know.
I think also not only the skills that they're working on, but their self-confidence, because a lot of times when we struggle in an area, we feel a little bit insecure, we're shy, and so I think in addition to building those skills, we build the children's self-confidence.
And we try to meet those needs. And I'm glad that we have created this program with parent mentors that help our students succeed, and not just academically, emotionally, and with a lot of encouragement. And we're going to see those results when these students are going to middle school, high school, and even the rest of their lives.
So redesigning family engagement is multi-year work. And our goal for the future is to expand and grow our parent mentoring program to include more parents and provide additional training for our current parent mentors. So at this time, I want to recognize my Raising Family Partnership team, Dr. Jose Luis Cavazos and Mr. Jesse Saldivar, and they're sitting back here. Also in attendance this evening is our RTI teacher, Mrs. Lorena Rodriguez. And we have 3 of our parent mentors. We have Mrs. Maria Fuentes, Mrs. Laura Maxwell, and Mrs. Sandra Robles. And last but not least, I also want to recognize and I want to thank and acknowledge Marcela Andres, who is the program director for Raise Your Hand Texas. And she flew in this afternoon just before the board meeting started. And Ms. Andres has been instrumental in the success and the implementation of our Raising Family Partnership Plan at Travis Elementary. And she's over there way in the back. Thank you, Marcela. Do you have any questions or comments that I can address at this time?
Board members, I'm sorry, Jerry Fleurier?
There's Dr. Pettis.
Is there any comment from our board member, Jerry Fleurier?
I was just thinking how interesting it is as time goes by, the reinforcement of year after year after year that we continue to learn and relearn, that it really is all about personal relationships with the students. And I was reminding myself of the old host program, which basically was similar, and you all have taken it, to further heights. And it's just really important for us to remember that it is this one-on-one that works, Superintendent Cavazos.
Yeah, and I'd like to just echo, Mr. Nahel, you're doing a fantastic job. Travis is near and dear to my heart. I went to Travis Elementary when I was growing up. My brothers went to Travis Elementary when they were growing up, and that is just one fantastic school. You're doing a fantastic job. Your staff is amazing. The atmosphere of the kids that are on the campus, you're just doing a great job. Thank you for the hard work. Thank you for everything that you and your staff do. It shows with the student grades and all the information that we receive. So kudos for Travis and for the team. You all are doing a fantastic job. Thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
Oh, Miss Dr. Pettis?
So if I can just say, and I appreciate the, Raise Your Hand folks, Marcela being here. And she knows this, but many of the folks in the audience and may not know that, but Raise Your Hand Texas has just done such an amazing job across the state of really highlighting and supporting public schools and public education. And you all are blessed to have a new leader. If you haven't heard, I'm sure you know, Dr. Sherry Albright will be heading Raise Your Hand Texas, coming from Trinity University. I have the honor of serving with her on the Holdsworth board, another Charles Butt HEB initiative supporting public schools. And so it's just an amazing partnership that we have with Raise Your Hand Texas. And again, many kudos to the work you're doing for parental engagement, for mentoring. It's just awesome. The environment there at Travis is special. It's just very vibrant, and it's clear that all the students there are just, their switch is flipped. They're all very much self-learners, and your staff is very happy, and you guys work well as a team together. So keep up the great work. We're so proud of the work you do, and keep inspiring those kiddos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nahel. Thank you, Travis Elementary. Next, public comments. Mrs. Brown, any public comments? No, if there is none, I would like to, excuse me? Oh. I would like to recognize a very important individual in the audience, Dr. Belinda Reiniger. She is a candidate for the Harlingen School Board. We're still canvassing the votes, but in the very, very near future, she's going to be sitting up here with us, and we're very, very excited and look forward to all the expertise, all the knowledge, and all the experience that she has to not just the board, but also to share it with the community and our kids. So Dr. Nahel, Dr. Reiniger, we look forward, congratulations, and we hope to see you very, very soon. Next is matters relating to transformation and school support. Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee report, Dr. Cavazos.
Yes, I'm going to have Dr. Noela report on the last Teaching and Learning Committee meeting.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon, Dr. Cavazos, board members, senior team, and audience. At our regularly scheduled Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee meeting held on May 1st, we brought forward 2 topics to our Board of Trustees. Both topics were updates on current programming that is currently in place, but how we are expanding those programs to increase opportunities for students. Both of these actions or ideas that we were bringing forward did not happen by accident. They are both direct result of expectations that came forward through our strategic plan. The first presentation, which was titled CTE Academy's Opportunities for Authentic Learning in HCISD, came from our strategic plan that called for us to create opportunities for our students to gain additional post-secondary endorsements and or certifications. And so at this committee meeting, we highlighted several of our CTE programs and how we are expanding those in this upcoming school year. Specifically, we talked about our Apprenticeship Academy and how that academy will now have 2 additional areas of certification that will include our HVAC and plumbing certifications that will come through that program. In addition, we talked about the expansion of our Automotive Training Academy that will highlight an opportunity for students to earn a diesel mechanic certification. We talked, in addition, of how we will be adding an EMT certification that will become available for our students that are participating in our Firefighter Academy, as well as our students in the Health Science program. We will be adding a strand within our legal services pathway where our students will have an opportunity to earn a legal assistant certification through TSC. And then we concluded with one additional academy that we'll be bringing in, or I should say certification. Our students will now have an opportunity to earn a veterinary assistant certification that will be available for our students in that health science strand. Really exciting opportunities to expand for our students. If you'll recall, very early on when we opened Kano Freshman Academy, one of the big pieces was about giving our students opportunities to truly discover what they were passionate about. And that reflected through our strategic plan. So as such, we are creating enormous opportunities for our students. I talked a little bit about how our STEM Academy is also doing that. And so we will be opening our STEM Academy this upcoming school year that will create additional opportunities for our students in the area of STEM, as well as our students with our Fine Arts Academy at Lee H. Means. Our second presentation also was as a direct result of our strategic plan, and that presentation was called Beyond the Bell 2018. Our strategic plan called for us to expand opportunities for our students in after-school programming as well as summer programming, and how we were enriching those opportunities for kids. I believe it was Mr. De Leon that talked a little bit about how students at times may lose some of that academic gain or academic achievement gains that they have had throughout the year because they are disconnected from school over the summer months. And so a number of the activities or sessions that we will be providing through the Beyond the Bell enrichment program this summer will really keep our students engaged in providing them with a well-rounded educational programming. So last year we began our Beyond the Bell program, and so we offered a number of sessions to our kids, and so that last summer we had approximately 3,000 slots that were available for students to sign up for activities that were being provided. This upcoming year, through the efforts of Thelma Reynolds, Melissa Parker, and Sandra Tovar, who applied for a Title IV grant, we were able to receive $42,000 that we will be using to provide additional opportunities this summer. And so as we look at what that's going to look like, we are looking at having a little over 4,000 slots available, so in addition to 1,000 more opportunities for kids to become engaged. Specifically through this grant, we will be focusing on fine arts, science, engineering, humanities, as well as some test preparation for our students. So throughout this summer, students will be able to participate in the areas of academics, fine arts, and athletics as well. So we're really excited. Within this next week, we will be opening our website to allow students to begin that registration process. And so we will also, through Shane's department, begin to highlight and market our Beyond the Bell 2018 so that all our students and parents in our community are aware of all the opportunities that are available for our kids this summer. So with that said, Dr. Perez chairs our Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee, and so I'll turn it over to him should he have any additional comments.
Well, so just real quickly, I just want to commend you again, Dr. Noyola, for the incredible work you and your team do every month at this committee meeting. It's just, it's amazing how active you guys are, and really using the design teams and design to really just ramp out great opportunities for our students. First of all, with the CTE academies, I want to just highlight a couple of opportunities. Obviously, we already are engaging our business community, and as was mentioned at the meeting, I think another opportunity presents itself as we view our vendors and contractors and maybe tweak our ranking criteria to really reflect and encourage their involvement with our students in any CTE offerings that we have. I think that the board would really like to see that, and I know that Oscar and his team will are already doing that. So just anything we can do to really engage our business community and vendors and contractors to really help out in that regard is just amazing. And the Beyond the Bell, these enrichment activities in the summer, are just an incredible opportunity. I think I can't tell you. I don't know how you measure, but I know that they will have an amazing impact on student success. I also, Shane, I know probably is already on top of this, but I think these enrichment activities also really add in a not so small way to the Experience HCISD situation. And I do think that we're going to be getting a lot more students from private parochial and other spaces just because we educate our students year round. It's just amazing. So kudos to you guys. Great work, and keep it up. And again, another great meeting. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Dr. Pettis. Thank you, Dr. Noyola. Any questions from the rest of the board? If not, we're going to go into matters relating to business services. First item is consideration approved to award construction services contract for Vernon Middle School courtyard and choir room improvement. Is there a motion, or, I'm sorry, Julio Cavazos?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. De Leon, Dr. Cavazos, board members. Agenda item 9A is consideration approved for Vernon Middle School courtyard and choir room improvements. The ranking committee met and ranked the two proposals we received. The committee is ranking the top rank offer of Alpha Building Contractors at a cost of $20,053.20 plus alternates 1, 2, and 3 for a total cost of $74,086.20. This is below budget. We did discuss this at our facility committee meeting last week. Any questions from the board?
Mr. President, I move for approval to award the construction service contract to Vernon Middle School courtyard and choir room improvements as recommended by staff.
There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Powers. Is there a second? Second the motion. Second from Ms. Fleurier. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next is consideration and approval to award construction services contract for Dishman Elementary, Stewart Pace Elementary, and Wilson Elementary intercom improvements. Julio Cavazos.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon, Dr. Cavazos, board members. Agenda item 9B is consideration and approval for the intercom improvements at Dishman, Stewart Place, and Wilson Elementaries. A ranking committee met and ranked the three proposals we received. The committee is recommending the top rank offer of Telepro at a cost of $91,942. We also discussed this at the facility committee meeting last week. I'd be glad to answer any questions the board might have.
What's the will of the board?
Mr. President, I move for approval to award construction services contract for HCISD's Dishman Elementary, Stewart Place Elementary, and Wilson Elementary intercom improvements as recommended by staff.
There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Powers. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Second by Dr. Muniz. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next is matters relating to district operation. First is approval and final construction payment to G&G contractors for the drinking fountain improvements. Mr. Tapia.
Vice President De Leon, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos. Local policy CV requires that all final payments for all construction projects be approved by the board. G&G contractor is requesting final payment for the drinking fountains improvements. And Sigma Engineer reviewed the final payment. They've done their punch list, recommending release of the amount. Administration's also reviewed the final payment and all the on-site work, and we recommend final approval for this contractor in the amount of $19,462.70. This was discussed at the facilities committee meeting.
Move approval of the final construction payment to G&G Contractors Incorporated for the drinking fountain improvements as presented.
There's a motion on the floor by Dr. Pez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Powers. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next is approval of final construction payment to NM Contracting for the canopy additions to the Ag Farm Lee Means, and Long Elementary Schools. Mr. Tapia.
Mr. De Leon, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, this is also a final payment for construction for the canopy additions we did at the Ag Farm, the small canopy at Lee Means and Long Elementary School entrances. This final payment is in the amount of $10,947.50. The project engineer and staff have reviewed all closeouts, all final punch lists, and recommends approval of this payment.
What's the will of the board?
Mr. President, I move that we have approved the final construction payment for NM Contracting for the canopy addition at Ag Farm, Lee Means, and Long Elementary Schools.
Second the motion.
There's a motion on the floor by Dr. Muniz. There's a second by Dr. Perez. Any discussion?
May I ask a question, please?
Yes,
Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Fleury.
I certainly approve this. Oscar, I was wondering, are we following a plan for being sure that all of the campuses have canopy additions, or are these some that have just been requested because of particular issues on the campuses?
Yes, the ones that we did have been on a plan as requested by the principals on the Form 3s. We have a certain amount of budget per year, and we review them, their request every year. I'm starting to receive some more Form 3s for this year. Okay. Those submitted, we'll consider them for next year's funding.
Okay, thank you very much.
I guess maybe to jump on that, does every school need a canopy, or?
Well, not every school's requested one, but the ones that we do, we review them, and if they're justified and need it, and we feel that it's we got the budget for it, we certainly approve them and do them.
In some cases, they have them already.
Okay.
Based on the building, so.
Any other discussion? If no discussion, there's been a motion and a second. If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next, approval of final construction payment to G&T Paving for the parking lot improvements at Harlingen High School, Vernon Middle School, and Crockett Elementary School. Mr. Tapia.
Yes, Mr. De Leon, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos. This final payment for G&T Paving for the parking lot projects that we did at Harlingen High, Vernon, and Crockett Elementary this past year. Final payment to be released is $63,354.92. Project engineer and staff have approved, accepted all closeout documents. Everything's in order. Punch lists have been completed. We recommend final payment.
Is there a motion from the board?
Mr. President, I move approval of the final construction payment to G&T Paving for the parking lot improvements at Harlingen High School, Vernon Middle School, and Crockett Elementary School as presented.
There's a motion on the floor by Ms. Fleury, a second by Mr. Powers. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next is the approval of final construction payment to Siwa Construct Corporation for the Lee Means parking lot addition. Mr. Tapio, once again.
Yes, Mr. De Leon, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, this is the final payment that we're recommending for release tonight for Siwa Construction Corporation for the Lee Means parking lot we did. There's a final pending payment of $7,463.79. We've reviewed all closeout documents, punch lists, everything's complete, so both the project engineer and staff recommend approval.
Mr. President, go ahead. I move approval of final construction payment to Ziva Corporation for the Lee Means parking lot addition.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor by Dr. Muniz, second by Mr. Powers. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Next is Facilities Committee report by Mr. Tapia.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon, members of the board. Dr. Cavazos, we had a Facilities Committee meeting on May 1st. We discussed various updates on TRE district projects. The first was the baseball and softball field upgrades that we did at Keys and Dixieland baseball fields for boys and girls. We reported that we got the final certificate of occupancy from the city, and we're completing, working on the final punch list items for the project. We also gave an upgrade on the AC upgrades at Wilson and Long. At Long, they had already started installing units, and at Wilson, they're on order to be installed this summer. We gave a big update on the Harlingen High School South athletic tracks and artificial turf projects for the mini stadiums. Gave an update on the construction progress. At that time was 40% complete. All the fill had been brought up to level. Curbs are starting to be installed, and the drain system was also being installed as well. And South was just behind there, but they're catching up. They were already starting to do curb form work at the South field as well. On Treasure Hills, we gave an update where we were on the construction drawings. We met with the city, got feedback on several little items that they wanted us to revise on the site plan. And I'm going to be meeting with the city's planning zoning department to go over a specific use permit that's required, and then go through the city commission for 2 approvals. South AC projects, we signed the contracts. We had a pre-construction meeting, and the contractor submitting all submittal documents to approve for the engineer to approve the units to be ordered for this summer for a new chiller and rooftop units. We just approved the Vernon Choir upgrades and courtyard improvements at Vernon. That was just approved a while ago. We get an update on that. And the PA system upgrades for the schools that were also approved here tonight. The elementary multi-purpose wall building panels for 4 schools was approved, and we've already had a pre-construction meeting. And we also met with the Boys and Girls Clubs to let them know about the summer work we're going to be doing and coordinate that work around the summer activity. STEM Academy, we gave an update of what our maintenance department is doing at the school to get that school ready for next school year. All the work being done by Mr. Lee and his staff. And we went over several closeout change orders on various projects. And then Julio gave his final update on construction financial report for the TRE projects. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Powers if he has anything else to add as the facilities chair.
Just that everything is moving very rapidly. The baseball fields are basically almost complete with just a few punch list items. The track and athletic fields are coming along. They're on schedule. So we'll have them for the fall when everything starts up again. And the HAV, air conditioning systems look like they're all on schedule. So we should be ready to grow. Treasure Hills is very exciting. I mean, that is on a real fast pace. Our next board meeting, I guess you're going to be submitting it for bids. I mean, asking us to approve the bids. So everything's going great. Your department's doing a super job. I don't know how you keep up with everything, but you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Tapia. Thank you, Mr. Powers. Next, we're going to adjourn to executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.082. The Opens Meeting Act for the following purposes: to discuss the employment of teachers and other professional staff. That will be an executive session. It is 10 o'clock, and we are now executive session. Oh, was that too many times?
Bailiff.
Order in the court, order. We are now out of executive session.
10:09.
Sorry?
It's 10:09.
And it's 10:09. On consider employment of teachers and other professional staff.
Mr. President, I move approval of employment of teachers and other professional staff as discussed in executive session.
There's a motion on the floor by Dr. Perez, second by Dr. Muniz. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Where are you going, sir?
President still has the gavel. If all opposed, motion passes. This meeting is now adjourned. And motion does pass. Did I mention that?
Yes.